Quasi.
Hello.
We. You've been. I imagine you've been like essentially. Uh, maybe you tell me. But like, have you just been sort of like asleep or in a coma for a long time, or have you just been like
How would you rate
like
your void experience?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've been asleep. I think I've just been thinking like, long and yeah, they've been thinking about the whole, the whole convoluted thing, and that maybe the whole thing was just a bad idea. Well, obviously, like blowing up the ship was like, that's like the initial like outburst, and then now they've had time to like go through the stages of it. But yes, I've been conscious. I've been thinking.
Okay. So uh, you've been, for who knows how long exactly, you've been pondering how things went down uh, uh, when you're for the first time in who knows how long, disturbed by something outside your own mind. You like there's like a light, and you see uh, a small craft approaching you.
Okay, I put the shuttle in a headlock.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess I
Are you in your
I
mech or are you you?
I'm just me. No, the mech's in Roger's basement.
Okay.
Lucky Roger. Yeah, I guess I like hail them.
You get held back. Someone called code name one of companies just the attacker is Williams, and they're hailing you.
Cool. Hello there.
Unidentified object. You have entered into the navigational trajectory of the One Prayer. Please identify yourself.
Oh, hello there. My name's Quasi. I'm possibly formerly or currently of the worshippers. We're very powerful. I accept your unconditional surrender. Please tractor me onto the shuttle.
I've missed Quasi
There is
so
a
much.
face, and the face is of a male human, basically balding, even though that there's ways to around it, but apparently
They chose.
they chose to
Silly
not
choice.
take care of their hair, and it's basically very pasty white office type personality. You know, the one you can find in a cubicle anywhere in the world, and he just looks like you're like, excuse me, sir, our surrender.
Yes, it's very sporting of you. It's okay. I'm going to spare you. I'm feeling thoroughly magnanimous today.
Stand by to be tractored in.
Thank you so much.
Security will be waiting for you. And there's a message back to the the Volpus is Yakut is found this, and he sort of turns to someone else and goes like, did he say asking for a surrender? Have we just stumbled into
I believe they did, sir. I don't detect any weapons on them.
we not only stumbled something alive in the middle of literally nowhere, but it's also
Perhaps
mad
their
as
attacks could
well,
be biological.
or plain stupid. I do not know.
Yes,
Either
that is
way,
also an option.
we will have to secure it in the cargo hold and see what happens.
Absolutely.
And the shuttle basically tracks them in and doesn't even bother bringing him into the shuttle. It just pushes it in.
Okay.
Just your scanners probably show that I am in state-of-the-art power armor and I have a sword.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there are armed guards waiting with full suits in a vacuum open spay hole, just in case somebody has to push
So
him out.
you're using the shuttle to like just push his body into the bigger cargo hold of your cruise ship?
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Okay.
So he's still tracked it in. So if they have to push him out, it's like, no, we just push him out.
I was imagining like bumper cars, like you're just like nudging him.
No, it's a
floating
tractor
in
beam.
space.
Okay.
And people are waiting there armed with suits, and Jakurt also has a suit for the vacuum, and it's like, um, sir, would you does the scans reveal what type of creature we're dealing with? For example, is it capable of living without, exiting the power armor, et cetera, or does it need the power armor to live? Like, say, human needs
Is that a scan the
oxygen.
mindscape?
Yes, that is in fact a scan the mind space.
I'll just. I think that this doesn't actually require a roll. I think that you can determine that it is a modified human in power armor. You I remember that in the old continuity, Quasi had lost like a limb or two, or sacrificed a limb or two before
an arm and a leg.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, literally,
Yeah.
But before, or as this all went down, that doesn't necessarily still have to be the case because we're jumping continuities. So that is up to you.
And if it's not the case, where did you get them?
I imagine they would have
Who did
grown
you
back
get?
in the time that has passed.
Okay.
I mean, okay, do my limbs grow back?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Maybe given enough time and like.
Yeah, it's been
okay.
enough time. I've
Okay.
got my limbs. Great.
Sure. Okay.
So he basically steps up in spacesuit, armor spacesuit, micrometeorites and all that. Sir, we are aboard the One Prayer. We ask you for you to relinquish your weapons, and we'll be securing your armor as well, just for security precaution, of course.
Oh, I see. So, well, that's just not happening. But I'll gladly not murder you all with my sword if you let me keep it.
Sir, I inform you that you are trapped in our tractor beam, and that my crew can put you back into space in any direction.
Oh,
including...
I will punch your little ship with my big strong arms.
This is going well.
Oh, also, since it grew back in space, is your power armor, did it expand over your new arm, or are you, one sleeve down?
I mean, I imagined that the arm and the leg were kind of, flopping about with the
Sure.
armor still there, and so it's just kind of, filled in.
Yeah. Okay,
How
okay.
I imagined it.
I just really need to visualize this perfect scene in my head.
Or we can, I'm afraid, secure him here.
We can have this conversation while I'm floating in the vacuum of space. It was quite peaceful. I just, I haven't spoken to anyone in a while, but it's quite enjoyable talking to people who aren't me. I mean, I do prefer talking to me, but it's nice for the,
securing the cargo
the balance.
Yes. You do realize that a conversation with an armed man who first words are, I accept your surrender, is not standard procedure among sentients who wish to have a conversation, a peaceful conversation.
Oh, but I mean, surely if you've already surrendered, then, there'll be no need of hostilities.
And he pauses, and there's this silence, radio silence across the ship, as everybody's listening to this, going
like looking up between themselves.
Oh, okay, how about this? I forget things sometimes. I mean you no harm.
You gotta roll for that one. You gotta. You're talking to a spook here. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a lie, but yeah,
it's like what? Not so much because it might be a lie. No, it's just to come out of nowhere. It's like what? I'm trying to figure it out. What is going on?
This is negotiations. Okay. I don't know what your game
does.
So,
it seems like there's a move here. I'd say, or I would say that it's Quasi giving an ultimatum, except that part of the trigger for that is when you credibly threaten an NPC. So that doesn't quite fit. And Whether or not it is a credible threat, it is definitely up in the air. Certainly, certainly the Argus Initiative as a whole doesn't think that it's a credible threat, although it might be. I don't know. It's possible. Let's see. And I mean, it certainly isn't. It's not manufacturer consent either. So yeah, maybe it's not. Yeah. Just I guess let it ride for a bit longer. Let's see.
Well, it's not a reaction move. Are you sure it's not manufacturer consent? I know you sometimes what the word says it is, and then what the move actually is isn't always the same.
Okay.
It sounds like somebody's trying to manipulate somebody.
Yeah.
And there is a request.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, let's actually turn it around to. I guess it does make sense for this to be Jakurt trying to manufacture Quasi's consent in that it's definitely been put in terms of it's in your best interest to just give up your sword and play nice. So whether or not it actually is,
I'm trying to find the move here. It's on.
So that is a social move.
Okay. Oh, okay. Manufacturer consent. Oh no.
Okay. And you know what? I'm going to risk reloading my Roll20 page because even the rolls aren't coming up, and it's
it's unusable for you at this current state.
Okay, here we go.
Trick is to have a second computer you could just have open. I don't know if you have one of those lying around. Perhaps one of your cat's computers. Computers, right?
I love Hedwig's Instagram. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, normally I would have
a lot more
like
not unsafe for work.
Okay. Looks like things are working now. Okay, so yeah, that is a full miss. Cool. So on the miss, NPC or PC, they see through your manipulation. You get Quasi. You get to ask a question from the scan move that should be answered honestly.
I get to ask a question from the scam move. Right, let me just get that.
Which is information.
Probably going to be, what is the link between... okay, so how does your character intend to act upon the topic of conversation in the future?
Well, he's thinking basically of putting you back in a direct trajectory to the nearest star. So if feeling driven, but if not, if you comply, then he's perfectly willing to have a nice conversation to see who you are. After all, he's a spy. He likes to derive information. Well, better to have a nice chat, as long as everybody feels relatively safe.
Okay, look, look, the whole surrender thing, I admit, I was posturing slightly. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf of being less me about things. And so, look, I'll either disarm myself or disrobe myself. A compromise. Which would you prefer?
Disarm. would be best.
Okay, although this sword, it's, slightly emotional, so I hope I can have it back, or I'll burn you to the ground. No, I don't mean that. Sorry. It's the old me. It's the old me.
Excuse me.
And I hand the sword over.
Yeah, somebody. It's like he motions, and the shuttle sort of, and it repressurizes and goes through the process.
Okay.
And the armed men are still there. It's like, but he sort of invites our guests into a room. Not there's no cell. It's just a room, a spare place where you can police. You have to excuse the armed guards. It's standard operating procedure when we have.
Oh no, it's fine. I could murder everyone in this ship with, it's not a problem.
Perhaps we should double the guard in that case. That way, I feel better about the situation.
Sure, I mean, unless you got an extra 1,000 guys back there, I doubt it. But whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Go ahead.
Sorry, once again, it's the posturing. I'm used to being, the big strong man, sir. I'm trying to be more sociable. Sorry, it's difficult.
As we walk, could you tell me exactly what were you a strong man of?
Oh, I was a force commander. Hello, of the worshippers. We were sort of a extremist paramilitary sex cult, I suppose. But then someone stole our goddess, and I realized that the whole idea is maybe, it's probably not good, and so I'm just going to try and genuinely connect with people rather than basing my whole life on a lie.
Truth is a very potent tool in our lives, and he says he sort of gives a looks to Williams as a like, give me all the information you have.
They have like an invisible data pad that they just touch the temple and nod to.
Yeah, it's like it's just like as we can. And exactly, how long have you been in this journey through the stars, considering your current situation, if I understand it correctly?
Oh, quite some time. I sort of lost count. I'm sure the suit's got a clock. It's been, 18 para units of time space.
Yeah. So I think what comes up is the measurement of time is not used in our current system, even though the materials seem to be carbon marked for here, because technically Quasi is from another dimension.
Ah.
Yeah. But I don't know the dimension part. I just say that this measurement of time is
Kent as a organization, as a search the mind space. Okay, let me see if I have a move that can it's a scan, I suppose. They can do a full scan on it and see, they get any information on that. So
yeah, I think actually Search the Mindscape is probably a better fit here, in that it's not like if Quasi was like a moment from like attacking, then it'd be scanned.
Okay.
But since there's a little bit of time to look, but rather than doing that role, I think let's wrap up the scene there, and unless yeah, let's just wrap up the scene there, and I'll make some moves.
Okay.
Brad wants to play.
Yeah, I think that and what it is that in doing the scan, looking for information about Quasi, it flags special circumstances, who gets back to you saying that, oh yes, there are Quasi is a person of interest. They are there's there are some plans for their towards pointing them in a helpful direction in terms of using a admittedly very dangerous being for dangerous and unstable being towards creating system stability.
Mm-hmm.
And be on alert. They are extremely dangerous. Like the that I accept your surrender part. That
Yeah.
That it's possible, not necessarily true, but it's possible that actually was a magnanimous gesture.
Mm. So clearly, an insane, powerful creature of some sort that necessarily comes from our universe, but yet might be useful some way or somehow.
Yes, like the that armor that Quasi is wearing, I believe, is state of the art.
Mm.
But also, since he's been floating in space for a while, aged. So wherever he's from, their state of the art is more advanced than our state of the art was at that time.
I suppose, yeah.
Whoa! Science fiction.
State of the art? How long does state of the art last?
Timey-wimey and all that.
Yeah.
It's already obsolete.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you express the question.
Whoa.
So, Pteranodon. Let's check in with you. So,
Yes, Lou.
You again got that information that there's another facility where the more of your people are being held. The whole bunch of your people are playing and modifying and fiddling with these pinball games.
Mm-hmm.
And you receive a notification from Capstone ISM saying oh, well, okay, it'd be from a specific person from just from the company as a whole, because that's their style. So you get amongst the other things you're dealing with, there is a polite knock on your mindscape from what's the name of those from Compy, who is a
friendly neighborhood researcher here to help you out.
Not exactly. Compy is a VP of accounts at ISM, and and the call request is pretty far up, pretty far.
Like your work calling you on the day off, but not like your mom calling you when she's in the hospital.
Well, it's just yeah. It's high up on the list of relevancy in terms of your incoming Mindscape calls, and normally if it's just like advertising it, that it would automatically get sorted way down. This is oh, thank you. For some reason this is to some degree important, but you may choose to deal with other important things
sure.
first or entirely.
I think I'm eager to talk with them. I have some things to discuss with this particular branch. So, I think it opens like it goes from like zooming in on me like the little deer face with the two little eyes on each side, and then it's like, hold on, guys, I gotta get this. And like it turns around and there's like a pinball machine on fire, one in a block of ice, one like half submerged in some water. It's got several of the pinball balls like floating in this graviton orb that are just like we're sort of testing the perfect weight of them. Yeah, and then I clear my space and it's a nice little like jungle space, clear grass, trees on the edge. As I welcome somebody into my mindscape.
And what you see is what looks like another squee squee, in a little top hat, who says, "Hi, I'm Compy. I want first of all, I'd like to express Capstone's appreciation of your patronage of our products.
And there's like nodding.
There are a few details that we should work out going forward.
Yes, we've found several flaws with your product, and I know we've marked in the warranties a dozen times now, but it is the 30-day. We had a month, so yes.
Yes. Under the terms of our contract, you did have 30 days to evaluate the product, in which and anytime during that you could have returned the product. However, we have been alerted that in 90% of cases the warranty has been voided by opening the product or otherwise damaging it.
There's like in the back of their head in the real world, there's like somebody screaming, running by on fire. Yes. Well, there were some technical difficulties with the adaptations of our particular biological abilities, and as we discussed with you in the several dozen emails and communique that we sent, there have been various technical flaws that we have. Did you get those schematics that we sent? We've rebuilt one of your machine out of the husk of several of them, and we really think that the real innovations going on here.
We do appreciate the information you sent. We shall definitely keep that in mind going forward, and may make improvements along those lines. However, there is also very much the issue of that you have been making attempts to reverse engineer our products, which is
what would we do that for?
Well, just in that you are making those suggestions, which again we do appreciate, does involve technically reverse engineering the hardware as well as software, which is again a violation of our contract.
Well, I remember there's something about that proprietary information being kept to itself, and we haven't used any external products in the reorganization of your particular machines. We've used all the parts from everything that you have, so it's not like we're 3D printing anything.
Oh yes, of course, but that would require a slightly different response. and let's see. There is something to read there if you wish to.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure my squee understand the situation to its utmost clarity. Yes. And we're also not sure. We understand that you have issues with our warranty on the agreements that we made, but we're also having trouble tracking when the first deliveries were actually made and the initial contracts were agreed to. Those people aren't part of our organization and nor ever have been. And we're just sort of like we're talking with our people about the legality of a contract. It's like when your roommate signs for something, is it actually yours, or like? So we're having our people work on stuff, and I believe we sent over some documentation of that particular issue as well. And like a dot matrix, like like just printing out just like piles and piles of sheets of physical paper to ship to wherever kept, probably to Vegas.
Well, in activating the products in the first place, there was implied consent, and that did require did require is it hoof or the hoof fingerprint?
They stamp their little feet.
I'm sorry. No, no insult or
that's our word.
Pejorative interpretation is intended. Just trying to.
Yes. We understand that for each individual machine, but we're sort of tracking the bulk package rate that was apparently signed on to by our people. But we'll continue to work on it. But we did have some questions about. We've been looking back through your galactic patents, and we found that like some of the particular shades you've been using in your machine aren't registered to Capstone, and we're sort of like investigating that. Like I'm trying to create an aspect that, like, if one thing they've done wrong is done wrong, then it can void this current contract, forcing them to renegotiate or have us re-sign.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
So
okay,
yes,
sure.
It was a good decision to make a direct beeline for this planet because I just found my perfect weapon against Eschaton.
A bunch of researchers who have a hair trigger and an addictive personality. Sure. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. That sound. I like that because that's sort of flipping what would have otherwise been another resist outside influence to. I think that sounds like assert political pressure to me.
Yeah. Okay. And since it's the thing is, like, you said that if we do an organization move that ends our scene after the results are sort of talked out.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
I'm
if
good
there's
with that
something else you want to do first, we can.
I don't think right now. No, we're sort of kicking off. And hacking the Eschaton has sometimes the scenes can go long, so having a short scene is totally fine. So I'm gonna just click it. I'm clicking, so just gonna do it. I did it!
Nice.
The best at this game.
Wow. Well, this session is going very differently than last session.
Every other session we've
rolls aren't red.
Yeah. So it turns out that the particular chroma key they use for a kind of yellow in their machines was a free patent, and we've backtracked and patented under our name. So we now own that particular chromatic thing. Yes. Making us part ownerships of all the pinball machines, but we're willing to give it up if, like, we'll give you this, we'll give you access to rights to use our color scheme for a certain amount of time. given
For
the debt
certain
forgiveness on the
considerations.
machines we've already received, with the implication but not promise, because my character's very careful about promising things because their word is law, that they will in the future purchase more advanced machinery once the adaptations have been made to future Capstone products.
Okay.
Good at PR negotiations.
So, yes, they will make that temporary policy change to clear out the
and we'll generously allow them to offload their back stock to our research station.
Oh well.
If they wanted.
Okay.
Just as an offer. But unnecessary since they now have the temporary access to the chroma key.
So the debt is nullified.
Okay.
They haven't given up or anything. There's still like pending legal wrangling over the reverse engineering.
Yeah.
That part of which revealed the whole yellow chroma issue in the first place. So it's like there could be the argument that
I think
your argument was from a tainted source, but
the patents are held generationally, and it there's like a small scene of like a little squeezy sitting on the lap of like a little old lady, and she says like, "Yes, you can have that color. I don't mind." And, like everything behind her is that color. Like her family made their fortune in that particular shade of yellow when it was very popular. Yeah.
But okay, so successful pushback. You're much less screwed. And let's see. Let's.
What are your organizational descriptors?
Mine?
Oh no. You know what I'm doing? On a 10 plus, I choose one. I'm going to start a 4 clock that results in the target NPC organization going into a schism.
Oh, okay. So I just been assuming from the context that it was a temporary policy change. But yeah, you can.
I was
totally...
just going by the rules. Should I not apply them? Because I know you like to have the rules.
No,
and...
no.
Or can it apply to this narrative instead?
It is. Okay, so it is totally fine if you want to go for starting a schism rather than causing a temporary policy change. But if you go that route
so what
rather
would a
than
temporary policy change do?
So the temporary policy change would be that they would forgive the debt on the machines.
Okay.
Unless you wanted to push for some other temporary policy change. If you go with the clock towards schism, then Capstone will definitely still assert that you owe them rather than vice versa or nullifying it.
Okay.
But you'll be close to throwing them into a big tizzy that you can possibly take advantage of.
I mean, they are the big situation, and I do roll very badly when it comes to other things. No, I'm gonna stick with the nullification. It makes sense with the the narrative, unless my revelation causes people to like a chain of people to get fired, and that just disrupts their flow. I mean, that could make sense too, but I'll stick with the nullification for right now.
I mean, certainly there's going to be some like internal uproar over this, but it's not directly going towards schism yet.
Okay. Yet.
Yes. So I think uh, I think we next open probably with uh, uh, the the one prayer entering orbit around dirt.
Mhm.
Unless there's something that you want to deal with
No,
before
yeah,
there.
we unless the one prayer is basically the last prayer of all the people aboard, except our new boarding member. Yeah, we are in fact in.
Your new Supreme Commander.
Yeah, and so we're entering orbit, and I asked for the regular text after I had the very interesting conversation with our guest. I go back to the office and ask for the regular reports on the planet and whatnot, and asked to arrange a meeting with the leader of the Squeak Squeak.
Uh, sure, of course.
How would you go about doing that?
Well, I have one of my agents basically introduce themselves and discuss the introduction of the new machinery into the Squeak Squeak.
Okay, well, I'm just asking, like, how would you contact me? So my situation is I have 4 ships in orbit, and then I have a research station on the ground. I am skittish.
I contact one of the ships first.
Okay, or
my
timid.
ship is, yeah. My ship is basically stealth, though, unless I don't want to give up my position anyway. At least not as an opening.
Oh,
move.
sure.
So the call goes through one of the agents. It's getting contact with either you or the captain of the ship.
Sure.
This is the one prayer communicating to ship in orbit. We'd like to have a conversation with your captain and organizational leader. It's a matter of mutual importance. We're willing to wait.
Okay. So since that voice came out of nowhere, you notice that all of my shields go up. And I imagine them like a diamond shape in the sky, like triangle shaped ships, like end to end, little rose compass thing. And it begins to like slowly rotate, like it shifts from its normal orbit as it begins to scan the system to try to find you. But since you're a stealth, it does not, and it says, this is the Tetradon. We are unable to locate and identify your ship to confirm identity. Please reveal yourself.
We will be sending a small unarmed shuttle for your verification. Members of our crew will be there and you can speak to them. We understand that in your position, recent hostilities, it is wise to defend oneself. Since we understand that you can engage with our agents through this medium. Is that acceptable?
And there's like a long silence. As like, even like on the ship, like everyone just gets very quiet and like, a little voice comes like, yes, we find this acceptable. Please transmit shuttle to these coordinates, and it just gives you the pinpoint of like, I'm using hand motions you can't see because my video screen. Like the center of the rose compass, like between the ships, so they can like scan your little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they put up like an energy net to catch it.
Yeah, they send a shuttle with 2 agents there.
Yeah.
And as it arrives and it's in the energy net, we are detecting a scanning and collection net. Mm-hmm. We accept this as a necessary precaution. Are you willing to open secondary channels for conversation when you're done? There's no, you see the shuttle's unarmed and there's 2 humanoids.
I was about to search the mindscape to see if I know anything about you. via the information on shuttle. Would that be acceptable, Brad?
Yeah, if you search for, well, I would say
Yeah,
that
I have to roll for it first. So
yeah, but
yeah.
No connection to the parent. They'll block any attempts.
Oh no, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to identify your ship and backtrack the information.
Okay.
Okay. Sure, go for it.
Or do you think this doesn't require a roll, and I could just know that they're a law person?
No, that they're they're
an information organization.
Oh.
Or should I? I'll just get.
I think it's a roll because it is in fact an intelligence organization.
Mm-hmm.
Gathering data on.
Okay.
And there's that whole religious thing.
My religion is perfect. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's perfect truth.
We have a parliament and also a tribunal of clerics. It's fine.
Yeah.
Our chairs are very tall. So
Our chairs are very tall.
it's important.
Very important.
Yes, very important. So I'm going to ask two questions at once.
Mm-hmm.
One might be inaccurate, but doesn't have to be.
Okay.
So, my two questions are, since I'm currently embroiled, what is your relationship between O. Henry? What is between you and O. Henry? And then, let me see. That doesn't really work. What are the primary security measures protecting you? Which I imagine would be cloaking and disinformation. But you can tell me what you wish me to think about, because one of them can be inaccurate, but one of them has to be truthful.
Yes. He'll basically answer the O. Henry question truthfully. He has no.
And you don't have to say which is which.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he say about O. Henry. Yes, we are aware of your conflict with this individual and their organization. We have no contact with them or are involved in any way. We're simply monitoring the situation, which we find troubling, as we don't like the idea of experimentation on sentient beings. As for our measurements, we're simply out of your scan range for our own safety.
Okay.
I hope you understand that.
Yeah. So I think it comes back as like between everything you say, there's a very long pause where you're like, and just making a note. Nope, that's not how you spell it. Yeah. So, yeah, they agree to meet, in Mindscape, and it looks like it's the same scenario. Like it's their like casual business grove with little trees. And I'm not sure if you've been told what a squee looks like, but
if I go imagine the little screen that you have, yes, a little tiny.
It looks like a dick, except they have too many elbows, and their hooves can uncurl into like gecko hands.
Oh.
And the dot under their eye is actually a second eye. One's nocturnal, one's diurnal. So they have usually only one open at a time.
Okay.
And when they project themselves, let's see, they're wearing like their professional attire, which is like a vac suit, and then like you would recognize it as a spindle belt, which is about the size of a fist, but on the size of this, it's like the size of a small keg because they're so little.
Party keg.
Yeah.
Like a party keg. like on their side or on their back.
Mhm.
And yeah, they invite you to their space, but they are like little smartly dressed. They have little
Uh,
tuft of hair. Yeah.
and in enters a sorry, describe my side of the mindset if I can.
Okay. Before you do, I want to lay out the possibility of Spook playing one of the two officers there.
Okay.
That
Sure.
there's like there's even an official move for it. Um,
Spook, pick a side.
Oh God.
Right as you were taking a drink too, I made sure to time it just right.
Thank you. Can I be like a representative of some neutral third party? Like, is anyone else in the mix, or do I have to pick a side?
I really
No, you
don't
gotta pick a
think
side.
there is at the moment. Yeah.
You can either be my
Okay, great.
muscly.
We're going with we're with the intelligence director.
Excellent.
Okay.
Oh, and also there's another squeaky that's like a few inches taller, but like very muscular for a tiny deer, just next to me in the same outfit. Yeah, but still, it's like the like a mini pin, like a min pin, like miniature pincher. Like a very muscular small dog. Like
What's up, dude?
yeah,
What's up?
their little elbows go out a little bit, like too much, like they can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only a little bit. Yeah. Welcome. Oh, wait, you wanted to entertain your mindscape and like the merging that happens.
No, basically, he Senator President, they accept your mindscape, but the person is basically attired in a very literally gray colors, very plain gray colors.
Sure.
Think of a future type business suit, right? The ones
Yeah.
that don't have, they have like a imitation, they imitate a tie but never actually have a tie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the
It's
ones
just got
that
a
like,
stripe of different color down there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is futuristic
Sure.
and gray.
Integrated.
Yeah, it's gray, very gray, very sort of like something you would pick up on a sort of if you were just wanted to rent a tux like very quickly because tomorrow you have a wedding or something. That's kind of like
Sure.
very basic, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes it's a daytime wedding, so it can't be like black or anything.
Exactly.
And also, you stand out so much against like the vibrant green jungle foliage, too. It is.
Yeah. It's attempt to go so neutral.
Yeah.
That it isn't. Imagine so particular you can't imagine anything.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You're a Thor thumb just because you wouldn't be you stick out in a bowl of oatmeal. That's how sore it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two of them. One of them will be Spook, I suppose. If wants to take one of them or both.
Well, you're one of them at least.
Yes.
You are still your person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Spook, rather than going through the full at your service move, if you want to pick like a trait or two, to and you know, and possibly a name for the intelligence officer, feel free to do so. But by all means, carry on.
Create.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I'm like Agent 11, and I'm just a very like serious, straight lace, classic mustache. But I'm like a lady person.
Mm-hmm.
But I've still got like the PI, the gumshoe mustache.
Yeah. Magnum PI mustache. Yeah, excellent.
I'm glad you agreed to this conversation. It comes to our attention that a certain corporation has been to some very interesting piece of hardware that has entertained your crews for some time. We are interested in studying this hardware and your interaction with it. Something I'm sure that you would not disagree with, since you are researchers, and information, as they say, yearns to be free.
They also say information is power.
Indeed.
You're like, you should share this because we're all researchers. And I'm like, but we're researchers. People steal things and put your names in different research reports and you don't get credit. I'm not bitter. It's fine. And so it's like, we might be interested in offering some sort of trade or perhaps a mutually beneficial research arrangement, but we don't know much about you yet. Perhaps you could enlighten us as to some of your dealings. You seem to know quite a bit about us. And they like narrow one of their sets of eyes.
It is indeed something that we do. We trade in information. We are interested in maintaining at least our particular department's sector-wide balance and stability. And that means that rare corporate operations that destabilize that, and for example, cause addictive behaviors and exploitation of anyone in particular, tends to disrupt that balance. We like to read retros. And like you said, information is power.
Yes.
And there's silence.
There's like, this is like, they look at their person, they're having a quiet conversation mind to mind, and they come back to you and like, what is it that you offer for trade?
I believe that we can use our information gathering abilities to help your people deal with this O'Hare. I believe it's O'Hare. Is it? And he turns to, it basically he misspells it and turns to 1811. Is it O'Hare? Is it?
Oh, Henry, sir.
Oh, Henry. Yes, this individual has committed some very disturbing acts.
Yes, they have. They stamp their little foot.
Yes. We like to deal with, well, we don't like to deal with these things directly. Yes, but you seem to be doing fine as long as you have some support.
Yes. They kind of like look down because they think about Boat, who's been like out of touch for a couple of days, and you're like, yes, well, that vague impression of support is appreciated, but what specifically can your organization do for us? We are very busy with our works.
Well, since you're very busy, we can try to find any and all information on them. Security passes, information about their security and arm arrangements, weak points, everything that one would need to, how to put it, break someone's nose and leave it that way.
They get a little dancy in the foots, and they maybe don't realize this. Like, could you maybe locate particular facilities holding, I don't know, that's separate entities that may not be part of their organization?
That would be within our purview. It would take some time, and effort, but if we do find them, would that be agreeable in exchange for the information we're asking?
Yes. We have some of our more passionate people have been, even folks just off the street have been abducted by this vile organization that we're forced to work with. We just need to get our people back.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Perhaps our recent asset we've acquired could be, at the very least, a distraction to this O. Henry.
Very well. That's a very interesting approach. Yes, we You see, it smiles. The agent smiles, and yes, of course. In fact, I would say that we will do this for the information, and perhaps if everything works according to according to plan, then we can work together in the future.
Absolutely, we agree that mutually beneficial arrangements are mutually beneficial.
Yes. The thing that is shaped as itself, of course.
Yes.
Well, thank you. We will get on to this to try to find this information for you as soon as possible, so we will continue.
And
our cooperation.
One more. If you happen to come across any, I don't know, massive genetic surging machines, there's no real need to sabotage those in any way. I'm sure they're gonna be used by O. Henry for good things only.
These machines are in the possession of this O. Henry?
Well, we've heard some rumors of development, but we're not sure. So, like eyes darting around everywhere.
Okay. Can I get? There's a move for me to find out more about these machines, or can I do it now, or do I do it later?
Sure, do it now.
Okay, so that would be search.
Once again, search Mindscape.
Okay.
Jesus. Yeah.
Very nice.
The question is, what exactly are they, and why?
Well, you have to choose from the.
Oh, you have to choose from
that list. Yeah.
Yeah, the list of questions.
Oh, okay.
To sort of challenge your inventiveness for manipulating words.
Okay. So,
that's one way of looking at it.
okay. I gotta find it in the page. What's it here?
Also, we didn't do our bullshit rolls at the start of the game.
Oh,
I'm not
yes.
saying we should do bullshit
It's
rolls.
too far. We've got too far.
Yeah,
I tried to say
I know
anything.
it,
I knew
I
he
know.
skipped over him, but I'm like, no, it's fine.
I was so happy. I thought Brad was being nice.
No. It certainly wouldn't be that.
Just busy.
Okay. Is that under the organization? The question I can ask.
It's
Okay,
under,
so there's a handout. Search the Mindscape that'll
Mindscape
has
moves.
it. Yeah.
It's under Mindscape moves.
Or are you looking for the roll on the sheet?
Info moves.
Oh,
Info moves.
Yeah, you made the roll. So yeah, under info moves, information moves. It goes asset, conflict, information, Mindscape, action.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Okay, I'm looking for the. I have the. Okay, I'm using the manual that I downloaded from the link.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Roll 20.
It's also in there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. See what's the question.
So.
Okay. So.
A question, honestly, and then a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what is the relationship between the Kwee and the machines?
Do you want to answer this?
Sure. They're Henry's government seems to be in the process of developing scanning machines capable of determining the exact location of every squee on dirt, and there does seem to be some sort of
Now I did my thing secretly.
Yes.
So
let me see.
That could be a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think it would be fair to reveal just enough to like make it evident that there's a follow-up question to ask in that direction.
Sure.
So it seems like there has been some reaction to this on the Squeeze part, although its exact nature you'd have to ask a question about.
Oh, I guess who own or receive services from. I guess it would be a very who own or receive service if the Squeaky were affected in some way. So what kind of services or effect was the quick Squeaky received or in the receiving end of when if that makes sense. trying to use the question.
Yeah, I'm.
Because
What
the
kind of
questions don't have
services
any effect.
from O. Henry's people were they receiving?
Yeah.
You can tell them about the unrighteous acts that were committed against my people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
he
you
already
already
knows about this.
yeah, you already knew about that.
You know.
So yeah, the relationship between O. Henry's people and the Squee Squee is not one of like mutual aid with the terms being argued over. That's between Squee Squee and Capstone, which you're I think not beyond the knowing that Capstone provided these machines and that there's that they're addictive. The the relationship between the Squee Squee and O. Henry has not been cooperative. It's just been that they have like have there's been some shooting at each other, some O. Henry stealing some Squee Squees for medical experiments.
Terrible science.
Yes, for science. See, it's okay.
Okay. Well, I'm also.
But
I want to get a little bit ahead of the curve, so maybe I can.
Yeah, I mean that much you already knew. So
yeah. Instead, I'm going to ask about the machines that they installed. It says here, what are the primary security measures protecting these machines?
Oh, okay. Let me see. So there's definitely that they don't have like Henry doesn't have like a full intelligence service, but it is still it's like a secret project that you got wind of. So like any information about it has been sent encrypted. There's been some attempts to obscure the movement of resources around to deploy it, and any installation where it's being actively worked on will probably be defended, probably by some sort of automated defenses.
Okay. Well, I factor in that into the eventual report, and I said, thank you for your time. We'll get back to you as soon as we have the relevant information for you. And hopefully this will continue this, again, mutually beneficial arrangement. Thank you for your time. And he waits for the
kicked out of the mindscape.
Okay, yeah, he waits for it.
Well, okay. Before you call it over, is there anything that you want to any sort of thing that you want to put into play going forward that isn't necessarily occurring right now, but we can elide things a little bit if you want to put something in motion.
Basically, it's getting the clock on, getting info on the facility and the facilities, and set up a situation where it also would include planning stages. I mean, he basically wants to convince him that he's a powerful ally without actually using his agents to shoot anything or blow up anything. That's what they do. It's like, oh, here's a ready-made plan for you.
Yeah, don't worry. You point us at a target.
Well,
yeah. But that takes a while. That's not a one single move thing. It's
the last heist we did. There was a decoy helicopter crash as we escaped through the tunnels out from back below the.
And I want to introduce the clock that it's going to probably hurt me, but it's going to be hilarious if it works. How it works is the ticking time bomb back in the ship. Because well, this person said that they are changing a new leaf, right? And we had this conversation about he's so attached to the idea of violence and
Yes.
being cooped up
Yeah.
in a ship with people that can be targets of that violence might be something. If Scuba
Something
Steph
could
said that
happen. It's possible.
could
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So that clock is ticking. So
Yeah.
Quasi is a digital bomb at the very least. I'll give you.
if I don't fire off Quasi soon enough, it's gonna explode in my face.
Okay. So I do want to, since there are like a whole bunch of moves
clocks.
out there, and it's like things are new. I do want to point out the possibility of the organization move infiltrate.
Mhm.
Might be something that you want to
Definitely do, yeah.
Okay. And there's a second reason for pointing that out, which is, this game is definitely like actively in development.
Just a second. Just a second.
So,
Okay. Hold on, Brad.
Yeah.
You wanna test things we haven't done before?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But the slight delay is actually helpful because it gives me a chance to pull up a thing.
Yeah, we can. Sorry, we can do that.
Okay,
Roommates.
so as I was saying, the game is definitely under active development.
Yeah, no problem.
And one of the things I'm working on is redoing a bunch of the moves under a using 2d10 rather than 2d6, and with a slightly new format for the moves.
Okay.
So there's a new version of the infiltrate move, which you could try out, and I'm trying to find a good way to support the information on it to everybody. Moment. But if I it involves some cables, so that this may or may not foster the way out. Oh, it looks like it is. Okay. How awesome is that? Okay. So at the top of the character and handout page, there should be new infiltrate. You could, if you want to try it out, just roll 2d10 and add influence. And so unfortunately, it's not. This isn't like linked up to the character sheets because it's new. But type in the /R 2d10 plus 1.
Influence, you said?
Infiltrate.
Yeah, but at what do I do?
Oh,
Focus,
yeah, it's plus
set,
influence, so +2.
+0, I guess. I don't think to have influence.
You do. You have your organization has influence of 2, which is high.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ooh,
that's a 4.
Okay.
Could have been better.
Yeah.
There was a okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
they're caught.
That's one of the routes
So-
you could have gone, and you went there. So good job.
Okay. So you're gonna lose 1 morale, which is scary because your people don't have a lot of morale.
No.
Also, choose 1 from the that result table A, so that either they're caught or you know, your word gets out about the infiltration, and your people do something unpleasant, and I'll advance a clock and
You've got so many clocks already. What do you need more clocks?
Yeah, I think it's a hit on morale. Yeah, it gets
Okay, so the morale thing happens no matter what. That's in addition to choosing something from table A.
okay.
Oof.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna go.
Yeah, it might be very dangerous to choose that. I mean, you certainly can do it, but choosing that second that second option,
yeah, it's
you know, could potentially throw your organization into schism right now.
okay. So we have well, again, it says MC chooses between loss of morale and a clock event. As a result, the organization reduces the attempt of infiltration. So the second one, the refusal one, can lead to a schism, correct?
It could, because it could put you. It could cause you to lose a second morale, putting you to 0, which is schism.
Okay, no,
but
well,
you know, I might be nice and just dance a clock. Who knows?
He's
Let's
never
go.
nice. Don't believe his life.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go when infiltrators are caught, which means I have to send more people after them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, tell me like a little bit about the group that you send to infiltrate.
If there's a city or a this is part of a government. So basically, what they try to do is come in as either government workers or subcontractors of some sort, right? They're not gonna go with brute force or stealthy in a way of like black suits and stuff like that. At least not first, not that type of infiltration. And they try to, try to get access to computers and other systems, maybe on the periphery. But some guard or something comes up and says, "Oh, by the way, you're not supposed to be here," and things escalate to now we're in the local police station being interrogated, blah 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 blah. Right? It may not be that they're, yeah, it may not yet be at the moment of, okay, you are, you're in a dungeon about to be, strapped to a table to be cut in half by a sci-fi laser. That level of it, but
Like a
it is
fantasy laser.
clearly a failure, and clearly there's an alert that people are interested in this facility or facilities and investigating, which is, it's battle around.
Probably. I mean, it's possible that your people will manage not to reveal what they were there for.
Yeah.
Just the.
Well, yeah, but there's the fact that they might not be found out. They might not police or something like that, but things like these tend to raise alarms. Like, oh, people are looking into this, and it's like, oh, we have to double our security and whatnot. So make sure it doesn't happen again. And of course, that means we have to try a more riskier approach the next time around. Which, yeah.
Yay, risk.
So that was definitely helpful. But I'm specifically curious about like just a random detail or two about what the nature of the group you're sending. Like, what do they have like a like sort of some like esprit de corps, or are they like the few slackers within your organization, or are they very much by the book?
Yeah, they're pretty much by the book kind of people. So again, very much cog in the machine kind of thing. Perhaps it was their overconfidence, right? They thought this is a out of the way situation. They can go in and play straight. And again, maybe
how could
it go wrong?
Yeah. How could it go wrong? They're following standard infiltration procedure.
Exactly. And maybe that's why it also kind of went out. Like, it's like there's that scene in what's the movies about the terrorist in New York. Oh my God, I forgot. It's where I know the scene is when there's two characters. They walk up to these two policemen, and one of the policemen is very polite, and then it's Die Hard 3. Yeah, the scene in Die Hard 3 where they walk up to the cops and the cops say, their cops are infiltrating. It's like, oh, have a nice day. And Samuel Jackson's character goes like, wait a minute. New York police officers are not that polite. There's something wrong here.
Clearly.
There's something wrong here. So that kind of situation, like this, something just a little bit off, and then, a chain of events that led to them being arrested by the local cops or whatever, or RoboCops or whatever.
Yeah. Probably, I mean, one of the things about O'Henry himself, or themselves, is that they have this whole sort of dude, it's like a valley speech that they tend to, use. And
I forgot how chill they were from balls of tentacles that attacked my people.
Like, dude, I mean, we're just gonna have to do this because this is the way it is, man. But come on,
our land.
Sorry to massacre your people and all, but so I think adapting to that aspect of their culture may have tripped up your infiltrators. So before we go into the fallout of that, and before we hop over to see what's going on with Quasi who's cooped up in a small space, that couldn't possibly turn into a nasty situation. Let's take a short break. Welcome back. I would say welcome back to the second half of Hacking Infinity, but there's been unfortunately Spook is just came down with a I think he came down with a migraine.
In case of the rafters.
Yeah. So rather than pushing on, we're gonna just call it here. Let me see. Dazer, do you have any
exciting news?
Any exciting news? And I guess we should do like some a little bit of closeout in terms of, let's look at XP, whether that should have triggered at some point, and I
never mark XP in this game.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The way advancement is supposed to work is anytime you do something related to your one of your challenges or bonds that either makes things more interesting or more difficult for you, you mark XP, and it happens throughout the session rather than just at the end. But sadly, that system is as much as I like it conceptually, in practice just hasn't been working. Like we never think of
because there's so much to keep track of, and there's so many steps to do in action, and there's so many stories going on at one time. Also remembering all of your bonds and trying to figure out if they work together while still playtesting and trying to think critically about the game is a little difficult, at least on my part.
Yeah.
Maybe other folks have it easier. So I playtest simpler games, and I write like single page games, maybe 2 pages.
Those are good. I mean, there's a lot to be said for that style rather than
Meaty Bones. I like Lasers and Feelings. It's good.
Rather
not
than
that games like Hacking the Eschaton or monoliths like Burning Wheel aren't wonderful games. They are wonderful, beautiful games. But yeah, I just get caught up in the story, and I forget. Oh yeah, mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why I'm trying to be better about like asking, is this a role? Should I be doing this before we talk? And trying to understand more critically.
I've been trying in my own game design to sort of not, because I come from a D&D traditional. Everything is roll a die to bash somebody over the head with a big something or other.
Yeah.
Not to just be all about combat. Like, for
Mhm.
example, it was the mechanic of, I said, I'm not going to give you XP or experience based on how many monsters you kill. I'm going to give you XP based on goal achievement.
Yeah. Milestone XP is what I use in a lot of my games. And
it's similar to, I think, what you were trying to do. Yeah.
I play in one that uses numbers, and at the end of every game, I'm always surprised. I'm like, wait, oh, right. I got 800. Sure. I'll put that down over here. I don't care.
and have like goals based on how close they got to doing the thing, or if they achieve like primary goals, secondary goals, bonus goals, that sort of thing.
Sure,
I even eliminated the numbers in the sense I said, okay, this is going to be percentage wise. Once they hit 100% bar, they level up. So it's not about, one level you have 100 hit point XP and then another 33,000.
Yeah, there's a bit of a curve in some of these games.
So
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to redirect
Yeah,
back to
tangent.
Back to like mechanical things specifically, given that it's not all about killing monsters, but
but experience,
so for Pteranodon, I actually don't have your bonds down on the sheet.
So my bonds are.
No, I didn't.
And I would have filled them out, but myself. But earlier on, the Roll20 was fighting with me.
Yeah, you had battles of your own. Oh right.
So
my bonds aren't for those characters. Boat was keeping an important secret from me, and Mortal they think I'm tragically backwards. But my bonds for now, I believe made with nope. Sorry, I'm trying to work the double touch trackpad thing, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Jakarta knows the secret of my lineage.
Yes.
But I never actually made a bond with Spook. I meant to go back and do that, but we had moved on by then, and I only remembered an hour later, and I was like, "Oh, I'll do it in a second," and now it's the end of the game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay.
So the secret of my lineage.
Did we? And I remember that bond was asymmetric. So did we ever figure out what your bond with?
My bond with them is. Oh, let me go back to my because I didn't write it down in my thing. Normally I do. Let's see. It was No, so my bond to them was that they know my secret, and they wrote down their bond to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we each have we each have an asymmetric bond with each other. So there is that bond between us for each direction.
Okay.
But it's not reciprocal. Yes.
Okay. So that didn't really come up as such. There I don't think that I could tell. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's an undertone there that. Okay.
We talked about secrets, but not my own.
Okay.
Yeah. No. We're.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, much as I'd like to pick things along.
Give me an XP. Yeah. No, I don't think any of my bonds came into play. Next time I play with Spook, I definitely need to make a bond with them. So.
Okay. Jakurt, do you feel that you're at any point a smartass in a way that made things more difficult?
Not well. I guess it was in the conversation with Spook's character, but I found that it was so difficult to sort of get on the same plane, because obviously they're very different characters and the way they view the world, that I never really got a chance to be smartass about it, because being smart is you got to read the person, right? You got to read where hit him. But he was like, "Oh, I can destroy you." I'm like, is this a potential threat or not? Is this person crazy? So we were sort of which was fun, of course.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
different planes of communication. There was like, I never really got the chance to be smartass, but it would have be someone else, I suppose.
Okay.
And when I got to when we were doing the Mindscape thing, I was so concentrated on, getting I was a little bit smartass, here and there, but not consistently, not in the way of getting a dig in. So it's like,
yeah,
like the whole thing that the thing shaped like itself and stuff like that, kind of.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was.
Okay. And
beyond normal conversation wasn't.
Yeah.
And then for that matter, I don't think that while Quasi, if his challenge was had been being smartass, then I think that might have been ticked. Like I think that the way he engaged made things more interesting, and is definitely like very particular to Quasi. But he wasn't.
I love Quasi.
Yeah, but he wasn't specifically self-loathing or masochistic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I guess that's a miss all the way around. I mean, I think all the characters were played well, but it didn't specifically hit those challenges.
Yeah, and I was too assertive to be timid.
Yeah.
So.
Do either of you want to add a challenge? Specific, and especially Jakurt, ideally sometime at or before the end of the first session, adding a second challenge is.
I think he certainly has to repair that. Has to work on repairing. His organization, because even if it's a minor failure, it will have a ripple effect on it. Right? So he's sort of the very self-confidence kind of thing.
Yeah. So this is the I'm sorry, the specific game term challenge. Okay. So it's one of those descriptors, or you can come up with another one that like absent-minded, addict, anxious, anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Is there something? If you see anything on that list that you think fits, definitely add it. Or if nothing on there fits, but there's some other like personality descriptor that you think they should have, by all means add it.
Okay. I think I would say idealistic in a sort of skewed kind of way. I mean, he sort of has his ideals on how the world has to function and the universe has to function, and he follows it. So he at some level he believes that everyone else plays by the rules. It was one of the reasons why when I forgot the name of the character. I keep forgetting the name of the character. Spook's character jumped into the ship. Quasi, thank you. Yeah. Quasi was in the ship. They had such a radical view of what was going on that it completely upturned him. Right? This is not the way things are supposed to work. I suppose idealistic is not the best word for it, but fixated perhaps, or
fascinated.
Fascinated. I think no, conservative. He's conservative in
conservative
in his ways and things. Not that he has a particular ideology, but rather he's such attached to order and
there's a way things are done.
There's a way things are done that when Quasi came like, oh sure, I'll accept your surrender. It was like that's not even the way you threaten people. That's not like oh you stand down or something like that. It's like
it didn't escalate to it. It was just there.
Yeah. And not even an escalation. It's like there's a certain way people talk about when they're threatening each other and oh yes, no, you turn out your weapons or I have superior whatever, right? It's like, no, yeah, I'm gonna.
He was super casual about it. It's Quasi. He's the best.
Yeah, so it's like what? And that's it, and sort of, and it's reflected in the organization. Nobody knew what to do. Like they were not overly aggressive either because that would be outside of protocol. Someone else might have just either shot him or left him in space or something else more. But they were like, well, I guess we just talk to him, maybe, or they. Yeah, Quasi, of course.
Quasi is a complicated being.
Yeah.
Yes. Eccentric, not crazy.
All right.
So,
Any other questions game related?
don't think so. Yeah, so yeah, if you have any shout outs.
Oh, okay. I say basically I'm a. This is my first online experience.
Welcome to the internet.
The stream. My
Welcome.
first.
I appreciate the opportunity to corrupt you.
What? Enlighten.
My first RPG stream. That's what I wanted to say. But I am a variety streamer. Right now, I'm streaming Mass Effect Andromeda, sort of the tail end of the entire Mass Effect trilogy and saga, as I would call it. I do so mostly on the Lessons Learned channel. Lessons Learned 1. The 1 is very important because otherwise it won't go. And I prefer to play both RPGs as well as CRPGs. That's usually my way to go. You can find me on that channel usually at 2 and at 8 o'clock every day. And of course, I also have the Lessons Learned podcast with my co-host Chapelmon. We talk about gaming stuff, related stuff on Wednesdays.
Neat.
Cool.
I also stream, but infrequently. I am
not that infrequently.
often, but not scheduled.
Okay.
How about that? This coming Thursday, you can find me on Eric Vulgaris' channel for Jungle Crawl Classics, which is so impossible to say if you're not focusing very hard on the words. And Ed is a bi-weekly Tube of Annihilation DCC throwback renew game of death and jungle. And we got so cursed. We're so young. We're level 2. None of us are going to live very long, but it's very fun. I'm here for the next few Saturdays, and you can find my streams for art and illustration and soon, hopefully, RPG games at twitch.tv/theposhpanda. You can find me on Twitter at adaser, ADASER. And if you're on the Mass Squad for Adam Cobal's channel, I'm always running games. Or if you want to look me up, I can give you Meaty Bones hookups for good Meaty Bones times. Everything that happens in one Meaty Bones games happens in every other game. So, no matter the genre, it's fun wrapping everything together. Yeah, that's me.
Really cool. So let me see. You can find me here on twitch.tv.rpglory or mixer.com/rpglory. Or you can find archives of my stuff at youtube.com/c/rpglory. Or you can yell at me on Twitter at rpglory, DOTCOM. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 for... actually, we'll be doing some sort of video game, but I'm not certain what yet. Rather than the usual RPG stuff, because there's a bunch of people who are going to be out. And then that'll be at 4 Pacific. And then on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, we will be doing session number 2 of Changeling the Lost 2nd Edition. Pretty cool so far. And then we'll be back here next week for a few more weeks. And I think after that I'll probably just do like live development for a little while, but maybe we'll find but maybe we'll find more people and do more dev. We'll talk about it and figure it out. So thanks again, everybody. Have a good one. I appreciate you hanging out and bearing with me for this game that's still in development. But I think that playtesting is fun. Like it's
and it's a different take on having characters and be organizations, and usually that's not something that you see in a lot of games. In fact, it's almost the opposite. Like once you get to an organization level, it's like, okay, character,
you're done.
bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, it's a good game. Good job, Brad.
Well, thank you.
You did it. You made it.
And on that note, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.